What's up, y'all? This is Vanessa J. Welcome to another segment of Cocktails on the Couch. Again, I'm your girl, Vanessa J. We're doing things a little bit different this time. We're going to do an audio version of Cocktails on the Couch, talking about how child abuse affects you as an adult. My guest today is Jay. Welcome, Jay, to my show.
Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
I'm good, good, good,
Good.
good. So let's get started. I still like to start my second with a cocktail. So welcome to another second of Cocktails on the Couch. Clean, clean, clean.
Clink, clink.
Okay. All right, so let's get started. So, Jamar, where were you born?
I was actually born here in Chicago. Been here all my life, so it's haven't really moved too much at all. At all.
South side, west side?
South side.
South side. South
Yep.
side? Okay, were you born to a single family home or a household with two parents?
Two parents. My
Okay.
parents, and they're still together actually.
Oh,
So
great.
it's been great. It's been they've always been together. They're still in love and everything like that. They got an empty nest and stuff now. So
Uh-oh.
yeah,
That's sweet. Me
yeah.
too. Okay. Any siblings?
I have two sisters. I have an older sister and I have a younger sister. So
Okay. So you're the middle child.
I'm in the middle.
Ooh, what's it like being the middle child?
That was different. I would say I wouldn't even know if they say the middle child gets neglected most of the time. I wouldn't
Oh,
even say it's because I'm the middle child. I guess I would say it's because I'm the boy.
okay.
I was the only boy, so that's probably a reason why I wouldn't even say neglected, but
Hmm.
um, that was kind of a thing where the girls get more attention, especially
Right,
So
you're the only male.
yeah,
Okay, and the middle child.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, two whammies. Okay, did you all attend the same elementary school and high school?
Yeah, we all did. Well, my older sister, she attended a different high school. And
Okay.
actually, we all attended different schools. Be honest with you, I attended one in. We all attended ones in the south suburbs. My older sister attended one in Homewood Flossmoor.
Okay,
I actually attended Rich South,
okay.
and then my younger sister attended Marian Catholic.
Did you seem like you was the protector, even though you had an older sister? And the younger sister, you could be called the protector, the big brother. But what about, was it the same feeling with your older sister?
No, my older sister, I was more of a person where I latched on to her. She
Oh,
was,
really? Okay.
yeah, like I adored her. Everything about her, she was so she was actually very she was comforting to it too. When her friends would come over and stuff like that, she would be like, "Oh, Jamar," and I would come sit and hang out with them and stuff. She was
Okay.
cool. I loved her to death.
Oh, how much older?
She 8.
8 years older?
Yeah.
Okay,
She's
okay,
8 years older than me.
okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I loved it. It's just being around big sister and everything like that. So,
So she was like your protector.
kind of like that. Yeah. Yep. Kind of like that. You got your friends that are like love your sister a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, your sister's so fine and stuff like that.
Oh,
So you
okay.
kind of got a little popularity because you got
Yeah.
an older sister.
Right. And she was cute, so
And she was
okay.
cute. Right. Right.
Okay, what was your behavior like in school? Were you mischievous or,
Mm,
active, quiet? What?
I was just the average student. I
Okay.
was I was active, but my behavior was I was too scared half the time to even do anything. And I
Mm,
went in school, so I was like average. I wasn't the best student at all. I was
okay.
average,
Average student.
C,
Okay.
B student. I didn't
Okay.
really get straight A's, nothing like that.
Okay.
I wasn't good at math. That was pretty much my downfall.
Mm,
Um, but no, I didn't really get in much trouble at all. No.
mm. You said you were scared. Why were you scared to go
Oh,
to school?
the punishment.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
the
knew something
punishment
was
behind.
coming.
I knew something was
Okay.
coming, so I was nervous all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later. Okay. What was your outlet in high school? Sports, drama club? What was that?
I played sports. I played football.
Hmm.
I was actually in the band
In band. Okay.
from fifth grade all the way through high school.
Mm.
So I played sports. I played football. I was playing baseball for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I was good at basketball, but I never made the team. Everybody was always better than me, because I was short, so it didn't
Okay.
matter. But those are pretty much my outlets. I worked a lot too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Working while you was in high school?
yeah. I
Okay.
worked for the school, and I
Hmm.
actually worked outside the school. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What was your relationship like with your parents growing up?
Um, I would say with the mom was boy.
Okay.
Uh, I was really stuck, and I wouldn't. If somebody told me that when I was younger, I wouldn't have believed that. But
Hmm.
as I got older, I realized, like, yeah, I was a mama's boy.
So she was your confidant.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
my confidant. I would what my mom said was word. That was
Mhm.
bond, and that's how it went. Even she could be lying to me, and I would be like, "Nope, that's the truth. The
Mhm.
sky is orange." That's what my mama said. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, pretty much my mom was everything. My dad. I was a little nervous. I was scared around him all the time. I was a little fearful. But I mean, we had our moments where we would do things together and stuff, and especially kind of when we got older. But as a kid, just kind of kept my distance until, unless, especially if he was in a bad mood, I just kind of kept my distance and things like that. So,
So you mentioned that you kept your distance and you were scared, at school to get in trouble.
right.
So pretty much, is it safe to assume that he was the disciplinarian of the household?
Yeah, he was definitely disciplinarian of the household.
And what did that look like in your household
Um,
with you and your siblings being
Okay,
disciplined?
so let's put it this way. If he, and this is kind of going back to me not considering being the middle child is
Hmm.
pretty much the situation is me being a boy.
Okay.
Um, my older sister was the rebel.
Mm.
She would do whatever you told her to do or whatever you thought was best for her, or she thought was best for her, she
Hmm.
would do.
Okay.
And if that pissed him off, then it wouldn't be that was his first girl, so that
Okay.
wouldn't he wouldn't take it out on her like that. They get in
Mm.
their arguments. They'd be going back and forth, and he would cuss at her or whatever. But
Mm.
those are the times when I would disappear from the situation because if it did get to a point where he got, let's say, abusive, if I was around, it would be taken out on me because I
Mm.
was the boy. I was the one that needed to man up. So and the
Hmm.
same thing went with my younger sister.
Hmm.
She was pretty much rebellious too. She wasn't quite like my older sister, but she's also rebellious.
Hmm.
But now I'm the boy, and at the time when my younger sister came around, because she's actually 8 years younger than me,
Oh, 8 years older sister,
yeah,
eight
and 8
years
years
younger
younger.
sister. Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
when she started getting into her own and she started becoming rebellious, my older sister was out of the house.
Okay.
So now I'm the older boy. I'm the oldest now in
Mm.
the house, and I'm the older boy, and you need to
Mhm.
man up. So
Mhm.
when she did things, I'm backing away again. I'm trying to disappear. But as I got older, and that's his little girl. But as I got older, then I would start to, I don't know. I guess I would start to protect her a little bit for him. I mean, from
From
him.
him.
Um, but at the same time, the funny thing about it is that's what he would teach me to do. You need to protect your sister outside
Mhm.
this house. This is this. Protect your sister, make sure she doesn't get in trouble, everything like that. And so
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
instilled that in me.
Mhm.
But then you get to a point where he's going crazy. He's getting ready to
Mm.
go crazy on her, and here I come doing what he told me to do.
To
But it's
protect
to
her.
protect her.
And
But
you.
it's from him.
Wow.
So
So
he
tell us about that. Like, is there like a certain situation where you feel that he took it too far?
uh there was one time when I watched it and did nothing.
So watched it with her, the abuse with her.
Yeah, where I watched it started to happen and I just kind of I did nothing, and it hurt me. It hurt me, and I guess at that particular point is when I decided I was not gonna let it happen again.
And
Um,
what was the form of this one? Like a whipping with a belt,
it
or
so he didn't when it came to that particular situation, he didn't really use a belt. He kind of he does like a fear factor thing. So
okay.
he picked her up, but he's extremely strong. So
Wow.
he picked her up by his with one arm
Mhm.
by her foot. So he actually had her ankle and had her in
Really?
the air,
Upside down.
upside down in the air.
Wow. Okay.
And he was
Mhm.
actually getting ready to like just start tagging her, and that's when I backed into the room.
And how old was she then?
At the time, I might have been like 12,
You're
so
12.
12, so she might have been
4.
4 or 5. Yeah,
So he had her upside down by her ankles.
yeah. About
And what
one.
was he gonna do?
I'm
Like scare her type.
maybe a scare, or he's done that to me before, and he whoops me like
Okay.
that. But you're upside down.
Oh
what I'm
wow.
saying.
Mhm.
So you're just completely at that particular point. You're completely. I knew how that felt because he had done it to me previously. So
Mhm.
I backed away, just got scared at that particular
Mm.
point. And especially, and I know why I backed away because he always told me when you get to a point where you get older, you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna challenge me, and when you do, you're gonna lose. He's always told me you're gonna lose. You're
At an
gonna
early age, he's telling you
early.
this.
Oh yeah. He tells me I can't wait till when you get there.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was angry.
Yeah, he was angry.
Now, what did your mom witness anything?
Yeah, my mom
What would she
would.
say?
So, uh, the funny part about that is like if I got frustrated, like, all right, so sometimes it would get to a point where my mom would have to feel like she has gotten too far. She would have to tell him.
Okay.
And she kept a lot of things from him, which is another thing that would make him upset. So, but when she did tell him, she would say, she would tell him, Jamar did this and did this. And I wouldn't even know that she actually told him.
Mm-hmm.
He would just come into the room, close the door, and at that particular point, you know what's getting ready to happen.
Right.
And she was like, he'll tell you, oh, so you're gonna act up in the store with your mother, and fear, immediate fear, and you're like, no, I was just, and it would just happen that way, and then once it gets to a certain point, you hear your kid in there screaming or whatever like that, she'll open the door and be like, that's enough, that's enough, stop it, that's enough. But I mean, like,
so the room was still the upside down. Hanging you upside down was that now was a whooping, like
that was a
beating
whooping. That would be a whooping.
With what object? His hands or
his hands? I mean, in that particular situation, when it came to my sister, was with his hands. He didn't have anything around.
And with you?
With me, whatever he can get his hands on. I've been hit by extension cords, iron. I've been picked up by my head, let's say my ears.
Really?
I've been picked up by my ears and thrown, and like I've been thrown down the stairs before.
Oh my God.
Your
mom was there too to witness that or no?
I don't think she was there at that time. A lot of them, like she's been there for the extension cord. I think she was there. What she'll do, she just go upstairs.
So that's abuse.
Yeah.
That's not a whooping. That's not discipline.
Right.
That's abuse. When
That's
he's
abuse.
picking you up, first of all, hold you by your ankles upside down, you and your sister.
Yeah.
And the fact you say he's picking you by your ears and throwing you down the stairs.
Yep.
Now, whipping, of course, we all got whippings.
Right.
Like you said, I never got extension cord, but I know my brother got extension cord before.
Right.
But otherwise, we got the little Hot Wheel tracks. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
yep.
Got that. But some others may say that that's abuse.
Right.
But it was discipline.
But that was
you know
discipline.
What I'm saying?
Right,
we learned
right,
our lesson pretty
right,
much. You
right,
know,
right.
some of us did, some of us didn't.
Right,
But
right.
the fact that you're saying went to the extreme to do those other types of things, now it's child abuse.
Right. I remember and it would be little stuff. It was one time where I guess he was sick, and he was and he had ginger ale in the refrigerator. He always thinks ginger ale is gonna make him feel better. I don't know.
Okay.
But I have a huge addiction to ginger ale, and especially as a kid, and I was drinking it, and he didn't know.
Did you know it was his?
Yeah, I knew it was his.
But it's in the household.
But it's in the household,
Exactly,
right? It was
right.
in the refrigerator. So I'm
Right.
like, I was like, but so he came downstairs to get some ginger ale, and he opened the refrigerator door, and he was like, Jamar, have you been drinking my ginger ale? And it's instant fear.
Okay.
And so I said, and I was just like, no. And then he gets upset because you're lying to him, because clearly he hasn't been drinking it. And he told me to come here, and I kind of stepped forward, and he's like, I told you to come here. And so as I'm walking over to him, he opens the refrigerator door and just hits me with it. Like
Hit you with the refrigerator door?
Yeah, he opens the door like real hard, and he hits me, and I didn't even see it coming, like right into the face, and I slid back in the refrigerator. I remember that day too. So
how old were you then?
Oh man, maybe 10, maybe 9 or 10.
Really?
Something like that.
So were there marks that was visible? Like when you still went to school, did the teachers anything observe?
So I would protect him in that sense because he knew what to say to me. And it wasn't that, if somebody finds out, you're going to get, more trouble. No, it was more like, okay, so I had a weight problem when I was younger.
Okay.
And he used to mess with me about that all the time. So he would say, he was like, you know what? He's like, and if you feel like, he's like, oh, well, if your teachers they find out that you got these marks, or I've done this to you or whatever, all they're gonna do is take you out of this house, and what you get, just 3 square meals a day, and your little fat butt won't be all these snacks and oatmeal cream pies and all this other stuff that you eating. You ain't gonna get that. You're gonna get 3 meals, and that's it. They're gonna take you away from us. You probably have to go to somebody's house that you don't know, and this and this. And I
Wow,
mean,
embedding all this in your
right. And
head,
so now you're like,
and you're young, you're
right,
scared, like, well,
yeah,
hell, I'm not leaving the
right,
house,
right. So
so I'm
I'll
not gonna
be
say nothing.
right. So I'll be at daycare with long sleeves on in the middle of
Really?
July with 70 degrees. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I mean, I would protect him in that sense. Like
Mhm.
you wouldn't see. And my mom would definitely protect him in the fact that she tell him, don't touch his face.
Really?
My mom thought I was wanted. Well, of course, any mom thinks you're like the cutest little boy
Yeah,
walking
of
around.
course.
So
Yeah.
she would say, don't you ever touch his face. She's very, very, very particular about our faces. Very,
Right.
in the same way with
Yeah.
her. So
Yeah.
so in that sense, she would protect.
So she condoning the child abuse, but just don't touch your
She
face.
wouldn't stop. She'd stop it when she felt like it was getting out of hand,
Mhm.
but it's at the same time, you're like, exactly what's gonna, like if I did act up at the store or whatever,
Mhm.
you know exactly what's gonna happen if you tell them.
Right.
So why would you tell them?
Mhm.
That's how you feel
Mhm.
and then at the same time, kids are resilient. So like I
Right.
would come
Right.
back to my mom, who else is gonna come for me after that?
Mhm.
So you go to your mom and she come in with like whatever, gauze or whatever, ice or whatever, and try to, mend you. And you resent her for telling them, but at the same time, you're like, this is my comfort.
Right.
So,
And
yeah,
she's taking care of you, so she
yeah,
feel that this is her way of, I guess, sympathizing a little bit with you
yeah,
by getting made you whole with
yeah.
by being the nurse,
Right,
nurse mom.
right, right. And you're just like, you started this.
Right.
You want to say
Exactly.
that you started
Right.
this whole
But
thing,
it's your
but
mom. So am I asked that was your dad ever abusive to your mom?
no,
Never.
never. I've seen him get in arguments. I saw him get in a couple heated arguments, but he was never abusive to her.
Mm.
The only time I actually saw him, and it wasn't even put his hands on her. He just kind of moved her out the way, but he used his strength more than he anticipated. Was
Mhm.
when he was trying to get at me when I was older,
Mm.
and he actually, and that was the day when I actually did what he said I was going to do and fought him back,
You fought him
and I
back.
challenged him.
And
Yeah.
what age were you then?
Maybe 20.
20.
It took that long.
So what happened with that?
We got into it about something.
Were you still in the household first of all? Were you away at school or you came home?
I was actually still in the household.
Okay.
Well, no, I was back for the summer.
Okay.
I was back from school for the
Mhm.
summer,
Mhm.
and we were going on vacation,
Okay.
and we got into it, and he actually, I don't remember what we were getting into it about, but he's not when we go on vacation, for some reason he's uneasy every
Okay.
time, and we got into it about something, and then I kind of stood in a stance where he felt like I was getting ready to move, where I was getting ready to challenge him,
Mhm.
and I wasn't. I was just standing there. I was upset, and so
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, you ready? You're ready for this?" And he
Mhm.
charged at me, and my mom jumped in to try to stop it,
Mhm.
and he pushed her out the way, but he used too much of his strength, and she kind of bounced off the wall, and
Okay.
that's what set me off.
Right.
And then it clicked in me, and
Mhm.
then we went at it.
Really.
And that was the first time I actually fought him back, but it took that long to go that far.
Right.
Because any other time I was just scared.
Were you all like at home when this was happening?
We were at home.
Was your other well, I know your oldest was already out the house. Were your younger sister there with
Yeah.
the witnesses too?
She was there. I think she was upset about something too. I think that she was part of the situation that we were
Mhm.
all upset about, but
Mhm.
um, it wasn't like, but it wasn't. It might have been her that might have caused the situation,
Mhm.
but I stepped in
Protect
to
her,
protect her.
as he once
Yeah,
taught you to do
yeah,
this.
that's probably what happened. Because I don't remember exactly what the incident was about, but I
But you didn't
think
know y'all went to blows.
right, and she was there, and she was upset too.
Okay.
So, and he was probably arguing with her, and then that's
Mhm.
when I stepped in, and that's
Mhm.
what caused the whole situation to like become real violent at that particular
So
point.
how did it end? Was the police called or
Nope.
y'all still went on vacation like nothing
Yeah, we still
happened?
on vacation. I left. I actually got a hotel room for that night. I
Mm.
left because I mean I was working too, so I had money.
Mhm.
But I left that night and I went to a Holiday Inn like down the street, and I
Okay.
stayed there that night.
Mhm.
But I wasn't gonna miss my vacation. I was
Right.
anticipating that all year,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we still went on vacation, and things
Mhm.
start to die down after a while. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, but that day was heavy, pretty much. That was pretty in particular that day, and I
Mhm.
lost,
You lost.
and it's only
You said he was big, a big
he's a
guy.
big guy, and if
Mhm.
you see him, you don't think he is, but he's incredibly strong.
Okay.
Um, But I lost. I don't think I lost because he was stronger than me, or I lost because I have way more remorse and resilience about things, and like I wasn't there to fight. I wasn't there to fight him. I was there to protect my sister
Right. And he's
and
your
my mom,
father,
and he's my
so
dad. So I
exactly.
wasn't there to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
He was there to fight.
Really, he was ready.
He was ready.
He
He
probably
told
just
me since
stayed
I was a
ready.
kid. Yeah, he
Yeah.
told me since I was a kid, you're going to challenge me, and I can't wait for it. And he wasn't lying. He was
Damn.
not lying.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I
What was
lost
your
that.
relationship after that?
Um, it's after that when I got older, especially after I moved out the house, it's been a lot better. And another thing was that he has we didn't find out till I was actually out of the house that he
Mm-hmm.
actually has a issue um mentally
Yeah.
that causes him
Fig-
to do that, to be
Figured
that
that.
way.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until after I was gone that I realized that we all figured that out.
Okay.
And so now he's getting medication for it, he's being treated for it, and so
So
things are a
mental
lot
illness.
different. Yeah,
Yeah. And
things are a
mental
lot
illness ain't
different.
nothing to play with.
Right,
None at
right,
all.
right. And things are a lot different now
Mm-hmm.
with our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's calmer. We still don't, we talk on the phone every once in a while, but we don't still don't talk as much
Okay.
as we, I guess, a father and son would do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Has he ever acknowledged that he
No,
took it to? He's never acknowledged
no,
that.
no. He's
Has he ever
never.
apologized?
No,
Wow. He
no.
thinks that everything is normal. He was being a dad. You're the son. He's the enforcer. He's a
Um,
disciplinarian. He's the head of the household. Whatever. It's his way or no way.
yeah,
Period.
pretty much. But I think he knows he was wrong.
Okay. But he
Um,
just don't want to admit it.
he don't want to admit it.
Mm.
He knows he's wrong. He won't talk. He never talks about it. But I could tell that he knows he was wrong and that he's remorseful for it. And
Okay.
so he does it. But we never actually had a conversation about it at all.
Really?
At all. No.
Would you have that conversation with him?
I don't know.
Really?
Maybe. When I was in college, I actually it clicked in my mind just one day on why he was doing all of it.
Really?
I get that he was the disciplinarian, he was disciplining me, but he was teaching me, when you get to a certain point, when you become a man, you start to realize why your father went so hard on you about
Mm-hmm.
certain things. Now,
And
I'm
you
not,
probably was blaming yourself, right? Like,
yeah,
what the hell did I do?
right. And
Yeah.
so I could tell that he was trying to make me be a man and understand, and I was starting to understand how the real world was, especially because I went to a predominantly white college.
Okay.
And so how it was and how difficult things are in the world for me and why he was being so hard on me so that I could be able to take this.
Mm-hmm.
And it clicked in me just one day out of nowhere. And I actually wrote him an email and told him I understood why he was doing things or why he was so hard on me and the things that he said. I actually mentioned things that he said that did encourage me to be, just to be the man that I am and things like that. And I remember him writing the email back to me,
Mm.
but I can't remember what it says. But he said that he pretty much acknowledged what I said in the email and that he got it. But I never told him that I thought that he was okay that he went that far. Never said that because I don't
Right.
think it was okay.
Right.
So, but yeah, I got why he did it. I got his intentions.
Right, you get the intentions. You want he wants you to be a man
Right.
out here in this world. The
Right.
world is crazy.
It's
you know What
crazy.
I'm saying? So I get that, but did it take all of that abuse
And
though?
I
You
still
know what I'm
don't,
saying?
right. I still don't agree with all of the
Right.
abuse that he gave me.
And what coping mechanism did you use to try to get over this? Like you have a story to tell about that.
Oh yeah. Shoot. When I was especially in high school, and not in high school, but when I got into college,
Mhm.
I started once I got one taste of alcohol and what it does to you, it was easy. And then nobody even, and I mean, the only person I talk to about certain things like this is the person my therapist. I go see him once every week. But
So this led you to go to therapy.
yeah, it does because
Wow.
you have to learn how to function with this. All this stuff, it doesn't. You remember the things, but it stays with you. But then, actually, same time, it affects the way you move about as you get
Everyday
older.
life, yeah.
And so I have to actually like go to therapy just because from all of this, I get anger. I was taught never to show weakness. So when I get sad, I get when I get sad enough to where I feel like I'm gonna cry, I don't cry. I immediately get angry, and I mean angry to a point where I feel like I can flip a car over with my,
Really?
yeah, like that angry.
Now, when did that start?
That had to started when I was in college. One person actually just kind of did me wrong in a
Mhm.
certain, and it was just I was so upset about it that
Mhm.
like I became violent, and that
Really?
because that's all I knew.
Right.
And so I became violent and I attacked him. And it's not
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm gonna fight you. It's
Mhm.
attack
Right.
mode.
I'm a,
Like, and so, hmm
red eyes and
right,
everything.
right.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I black out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mhm.
I did that once in college, and then I actually, and then once I did it that time, I felt bad. But then at the same time, you like, I can do that again. And
Mm.
so I went and saw somebody in college. I actually went and saw a social worker or a social person in college,
Mhm.
a psychologist, student psychologist I could talk to, and I
Mhm.
was in there for with that person for a while,
Mhm.
and I told her about how I feel when I get violent,
Okay.
and that it's almost primal.
Mhm.
And we had a couple sessions. We actually had sessions for about 2 or 3 months, and then she
Okay.
said something to make me upset,
Mhm.
and
You ready to flip her desk
yeah,
over too?
it made her nervous, and she quit
Right.
on me. She told me I had to
Yeah.
find somebody else. So I ended up in a group setting
Right.
with a bunch of people,
Wow.
and at that particular point, I kind of was like, I'm not. I felt like I wasn't crazy or anything. I just needed somebody to talk to. The people that
Right.
were in that group session, I'm like, wow, y'all are messed up, and it's
Mhm.
not. It's pretty much things that they were going through, but I'm like, I don't think I should be here. So I
Okay.
kind of jumped
It
out of the
wasn't
group
that type
setting.
of setting that you need to
Yeah,
be in.
right.
Okay.
And I just kind of
Mhm.
jumped out of that group setting.
Mhm.
But I kept going well, I stopped for a while, and then I still had my alcohol abuse situation
Mhm.
even after I was married and had kids, and I got to a point where I was like, I just need to stop doing this.
And
Like
how much
this is
would you
bad.
drink?
Oh, I would be up late at night.
Mhm.
Oh, after I put my I said when I towards the time I stopped, I would put when my daughter and my wife went to sleep. I
Mhm.
would be up from about maybe 9:30 to about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning,
Drinking.
drinking and doing things, and and then I got to a point where I would do funny stuff like I
Mhm.
would get my kids dolls, my daughter's like Barbies and stuff like that. And you
Mhm.
can see them on my page sometimes, but I
Mhm.
would put things together like these skits or scenes together and like take pictures of them and whatever, and I
Mhm.
put them up on Instagram. And
Mhm.
I was getting a backing on that, and I was
Mm.
like, but at the same time, I was like, this is sadistic, like
Right.
this is
Yeah.
crazy. And but I got to a point where I still go to work early in the morning, so I was waking up at like 2 hours
Hungover?
later, yeah, hungover and going to
Yeah.
work, and
Mhm.
it just got bad. I was like, this has to stop. I
And how
started,
long did that go? How long was you doing that?
maybe about 3 years,
Wow.
and then I finally
Did your
got,
wife recognize anything?
nope.
Any certain behaviors? No?
No, I wasn't. I was still me. I wasn't doing anything crazy at all.
Did your childhood upbringing and how your father was such an aggressor and an enforcer of discipline or abuse, did that take effect with you in your household with your children?
Um, kind of.
Or you want to do the opposite? I'm not going to be like that when I have
Right.
kids.
I was kind of like, I'm
Okay.
not gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna be the complete opposite
Opposite,
with
right.
my kids.
Mm-hmm.
But that actually has its own issues because my son, I try my he's one of those people that you tell him this and he's like, okay, and that's what it is.
Okay.
And he's a kid and you have to understand that. So he step outside and do something that you might consider to be, wrong or whatever, and you yell at him and he's like, he doesn't want to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a few times where I've had to whoop him, and my daughter, but like when I whip them and they're like sad, I literally have to go into a bathroom by myself and I shed tears for
Cry.
about
Yep.
30 minutes
Yep.
because I can't take what I just did to them.
Right.
But then at the same time, I let my son get away with stuff that I'm just like, what? And I have to question: is this something I should let him get away with?
Right.
Is this because I don't want to take it there,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how far is too far.
Right.
I don't know how much is not enough.
Right.
So I still stumble about with that issue right now
Do you
too.
and your wife talk about that, like forms of discipline that you all instilled within yourselves for your babies?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, kind of. I just talk about how I don't want to be like my dad.
So she knows everything about it.
Yeah, she knows. And when I told her about it before, she didn't believe me.
Really?
She didn't believe me. And then we were at my parents' house one time, and my mom acknowledged it and told her a story. And she set her back. She didn't realize, like, she thought I was lying.
Really?
And I was like, I told you.
So what made your mom just come out and tell a story? Just like a family dinner? Like, oh, remember the time?
Well, I'm married now, so she's part of the family. So she's like, you know, it was.
I'm saying it was hurtful to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if she over the household, and then, like, she's over your parents' house, and then it automatically comes up.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot how that came up.
Okay.
But I think I was talking about it or something like that. Talking about situation, and then my mom just kind of kept going. Yeah, and just kind of confirmed it and kept going. And my wife didn't. She was taken back by it. She thought I was lying the whole time, and I was like, I told you I didn't lie about any of that, you know. And my father, right now, it seems like the most coolest laid back person.
Really?
So you wouldn't, if you saw him,
think.
you wouldn't even think. You wouldn't even know.
So let's back up for a minute. Were you, like, afraid when you went off to college? Your younger sister was still in the household. Were you, like, afraid for her? Like, dang, she's still here. I hope my dad don't take it too far. I hope she's, you know.
Not really, because I only saw him come at her twice.
Just twice, okay.
Like that, and I was there.
Okay.
But she is rebellious.
Really?
And I mean, like, rebellious, and she'll do whatever she wants to. Where if you ask her, if you're a kid, you're like, if you're in, like, you know, grade school or high school, you're like, you know, I want this, and they tell you, no, I'm not buying that for you. She'll come in with it the next day, and you're like, where do you get that from? And she's like, don't worry about it. You didn't get it for me. She's that person, right? And she's a survivor too. So but and if he didn't get at her about situations like that, then I don't think that he would ever like get to her like that. I wasn't worried about her when it came to physically.
It just affected you.
Yeah, me
mentally.
He'll come at me in a heartbeat. I guess because I was the boy. So no, not his first girl and not his little girl. No, I don't think they had any issues like that. They argue all the time though. My younger sister and him. I mean, they just go back and forth. So
have you forgiven him?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Mainly because I understand what his intentions were.
Okay.
And then at the same time, we found out that it was actually a mental issue that he's dealing with now, that he's actually trying to deal with and take care of.
Okay.
So,
is he going through therapy as well?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't
That's
think
helpful.
Yeah, it is helpful.
It's very helpful. Not just medication.
Right.
You need the therapy.
Right, right. And he's actually living his best life right now, you know. He loves my son and he loves my daughter, and they, you know, those are his grandbabies and things like that. But
he never tried to discipline them or anything?
No.
Okay.
No. They get away with murder around there. I mean, he'll tell them to stop every once in a while, but they get away with murder around them, especially because they're just their grandchildren. That's what it's supposed to be. So, but yeah, I mean, it was. I don't even know if it was just towards me, but yeah, I actually seen him get at other people outside the household, but that was just for protection of us, of his household. But yeah, like the same way he went at that gentleman for feeling like he threatened us. He came at me. Like I guess I was threatening him. So he fought me like a grown man all the time.
All the time.
Even when I was a kid, yeah, he would jump on me like I was a grown man. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like I was a grown man, and I don't know if he was preparing me for things or whatever, but in another way that actually affected me is when you get around authority. Even now, when I get around authority or somebody that I respect and I'm trying to do something, I always try my best to go all out, but I'm also, for myself, but I'm also trying to impress them or trying to show them that I'm good, I'm great, I'm capable, and whenever I get to a point where I feel like I let them down, and this is including my wife, I get really down, and I want to drink, for that. And
you sober now?
Yeah.
Or occasional drinker?
Social drinker, yeah. I went sober for a long time, like for maybe about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then I kind of jumped back into it a little bit, but yeah, but I get to a point where, and then actually when I was in high school, I was suicidal. I tried twice.
Really?
Yeah, I tried to kill myself twice. It didn't work. And all I could think about, and the funny part about that is the only thing I could think about was when I failed at it twice, I heard my father's voice saying to me, I told you, he would use the F word, but I told you a F up. And you can't do anything right. And that's how I felt when I couldn't do it, when I attempted it twice and still
So
did.
it was serious mental abuse
Yeah.
and physical abuse and
Yeah.
emotional abuse,
Mm-hmm.
all of it.
Verbal, all of it.
Verbal, everything.
Yep.
So when he cussed you out, I mentioned mentioned before that he had said something like cursing your sister out.
Mm-hmm.
Did he used to cuss you out too? When
Oh
you whooped
yeah,
him?
oh yeah. But I would get more of it, not just the cursing, but I would get like, you ain't. I was fat. He didn't like that. Oh my
Really?
God, he hated the fact that I was fat, and so he would call me all types of fat names. I mean, I'm getting this abuse at school, but then I'm
Right.
getting it
At
at
home
home too.
too.
Yeah, there was a time where I was actually sitting at the table, and I think they were washing clothes, so I didn't have a shirt on, and he made me get up and leave because he told me I was making him lose his appetite. There was a lot. He hated the fact that I was fat. Then he told me before I was a F up. A lot of things, a lot of ideas that I had on my own that I thought I would do. He would tell me that's stupid. He told me, and so I really didn't feel that. I felt like whatever they told me I needed to do in order to succeed was right. So just trying to do what I'm doing now to get myself together. I didn't start. I feel like I started at a late age because I listened to them.
Was mama part of that too?
Yeah,
Mom would say the same thing?
a lot of the things, a lot of the ideas that I had, she just felt like they're old school. So they're like you go to school. Whatever you do in school allows you to go to college, and then you go to college, and then you go out and you go to the workforce. It's not like you have a dream, because most of the time your dreams don't come true. So you don't work towards your dream. You just go to school, you go to college,
Get a job.
get a job.
Not a career, but a
Right,
job.
get a job. So when I tell them, oh, this is what I want to do, I remember I told them in 6th grade I wanted to be the first black president, and they told me I was highly unlikely. And and they were like, you just need to figure something else out. Just go to school and get your education. And I'm like, okay, you would figure that's
Just shut you
like,
down,
yeah,
right.
you figure like that's a good, when I told them that, they were like,
Right.
you
And
know,
you think the response should be, yes, babe, you're going to be
yeah,
the
you
best
can
black president
yeah,
ever. You
ever.
can do it, achieve your dreams.
Right,
But yours was
right.
totally
They were
opposite.
they were more like, yeah, that's highly unlikely. Just go to school, get your grades together, and do what you need to do. And I'm like, oh, all right. So, ideas that I had, a lot of them, when I'm like, that's a good idea, but it probably won't work out. That's how I would think mentally.
Right.
So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I got started late on what I wanted to do with my dreams.
Okay.
Because I was just like, once I got to a point where I was like, hey, you know what, I really want to do this. I already had a family that I had to support, so I need to stay in the workforce that I'm in right now, just so I can pay these bills, take care of them, and everything like that. So, yeah, it has an effect on you when you get older too. It really does. So it never goes away. It never goes away. And I remember I let my wife down. Well, I actually didn't let her down. I made her upset, and like really upset, maybe a couple months back in December. And she just stayed really upset at me for like weeks, and I couldn't take it. I was like, can you please just. And I felt like there was no way for me to get out of that situation. So I contemplated killing myself again. It doesn't go
As an
anywhere.
adult, really?
It doesn't go, and it's just like an authority figure, somebody you respect. When you feel like you let them down,
Yeah.
it was when I was talking. I still was going to see. I was in therapy.
I'm
I'm
about to
still
ask
in
you that. You're
therapy.
still in therapy.
Yeah, and I was telling them, I was like, what I realized at that particular point was like that doesn't go away. It's like riding a bike, like wanting to kill yourself. Like it doesn't take long for you to become content with the fact that you're going to die. When I got that in high school, it took me a while. The first time, I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. This and this and this, and then I try, and it took forever for me to actually go through with it the first time, and I
Did
did.
you have a plan?
Yeah, I had a plan. I was gonna
Really?
slit my wrist. Didn't know how to do it. That's how I failed.
Right.
But it took me forever to realize that I was gonna do it, and then I did it. And then I was like, man, you can't even do that right. That's what really pressed me to go to the second time, to try to do it a second time when I was in high school. And then of course that attempt didn't work again. But I kind of got out of that whole suicide thing. But I mean, it didn't take long for me to become content with like, all right, man, this time I'm done with this,
Mhm.
and just tried it again. It didn't take long at all. And I was like, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes to realize, all right, you ready? And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm ready.
Mhm.
And my wife actually taught me out of it.
She did.
Yeah, I told her. I told her I was gonna do it. And
Because of the fact that she was mad at you that particular time.
yeah.
So that was on the third. So the third time you
Mhm.
attempted suicide, and as a married grown adult.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm. I was told her, and I knew exactly how I was gonna do it.
You told her you was about to commit suicide,
Yeah, I
or
told
she
her.
just found you or
I
something.
didn't really. I didn't really say I'm gonna kill myself, but she kind of figured out. She figured it out because we were driving, and then I stopped talking, just completely stopped talking. And she was talking to me, but she realized I stopped talking. And
Mhm.
all I was doing was just coming to the realization, like, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. And
Right.
so I pulled up at the house, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? You're in the car right now, so just do it in the car. So I was like, I don't want to take her with me because we got kids and stuff. So
Mhm.
I pulled up to the house, and we were in the driveway, and I told her to get out. And she's, no, where are you going? And I'm like, just get out. And I didn't respond to her. I stopped talking completely, and she could tell that my eyes went numb. I was numb at that particular point.
Mhm.
And that's when she started to pick it up. And I told her, I was like, I'm done. I'm over with. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Mhm.
And she wouldn't get out the car.
Yeah.
And I wasn't
She
taking her
saved
with
you.
me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't taking her with me. But I was
Right.
like, I'm not doing this anymore. I knew
Mhm.
exactly where I was gonna go. I knew
Right.
exactly how I was gonna do it.
Mhm.
I knew, I pictured it in my head how it was gonna go. And
Wow.
I became content. 15 seconds. I mean, it's 15 minutes. That's all it took.
Mm.
That's all it took. And she
Was that
wouldn't
the
get out the car.
last time?
That was the last time. But that wasn't even a year ago.
Really?
Yeah, that was like 5 or 6 months ago.
5 or 6 months ago.
Uh huh.
Wow.
Yep.
And you still getting the therapy.
Yep. Yep.
And you told the therapist about your
Mhm.
previous experience of wanting to commit suicide.
Yep. And he was like, yeah, that makes sense. He said he said, because he has other people he talks to that want to
Mhm.
commit suicide. And he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, that it doesn't, it's
Go
like riding a
away.
bike. It doesn't go away. And when
Wow.
it gets too rough on somebody, it's like it comes to their minds a lot faster than it normally does other people.
Is he showing you like coping mechanism what to do when you get to that point where you feel like you want to commit suicide?
Yeah,
Like what you
you
would
know, he'll
do?
tell he'll tell you what everybody else will tell you. You need to think about what you're leaving
Yes,
behind.
what you're gonna lose. Yeah.
And then there's actually a show on Netflix. It's called 13 Reasons,
Mhm.
and I watched that, and it actually shows like because the person actually did commit suicide, but it
Mhm.
shows the aftershock to what her family went through and what her
Mhm.
friends went through after she was gone,
Mhm.
and you see things like you wouldn't even think that it happened, you know.
Mm.
So I mean, he reminds you of things about that and how that goes, and just what happens in the aftermath of it, and that'll keep you from going anywhere.
Mhm.
For the time being,
Wow.
you know, for the time being. So,
Right. Right.
you know, you never know what'll push you there anymore, and that's
Mhm.
scary too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much how things are right now. Yeah.
So, if you were to, because all this is stemming from your childhood
Hmm.
with abuse with your dad. If you was to, this is very, very serious. You know what I'm saying? You're getting the therapy and all that, which is good. What conversation would you have with your dad now, so he'll know that you've tried? Do he know back in the past did you try to commit suicide?
Mm-mm.
Well, did he know about that? Was because you said you messed up. You didn't do it right.
Well,
But do he know
I
about?
didn't tell him.
Oh, you
Well,
didn't tell him.
see what I well, so my mom knows. He doesn't know. Um, but at the same time, like me, when I did try to, he wouldn't. It wasn't him actually saying to me, "You messed
Oh,
up." It was his
oh, okay.
voice.
I'm sorry. Okay, his voice was
His
saying that
same
you couldn't
voice
even
was
get
saying,
that right.
"Right, you
Okay,
can't even get this
I
right."
got you. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay.
yeah.
Oh, he was saying that.
No,
Okay,
no.
so he doesn't know, but mom knows.
Hmm.
But if you was to sit down and have a conversation with your dad and explain everything that you went through as a kid, including the trying to commit suicide, including going off to college, having a drinking behavior, drinking problem, what would you say to him? What would that conversation look like?
I
And I
guess.
think it needs to be had.
Well, right now, considering that the fact that I'm in therapy, I can talk about anything now.
Oh, good.
So I can say whatever I want. I could talk to him about whatever happens, how I felt,
Hmm.
and all the other situations.
But are you ready though? Are you ready to
Yeah,
have that conversation
yeah, I would be ready to have that conversation. Is he ready? That's the question.
to
I
receive
don't
it?
want, right. One thing I don't want to do, especially with something that's so sentimental and heartfelt to me, I don't want to talk to a brick wall.
Okay.
And I don't know if he'll be a brick wall in that situation. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he he, and then at the same time, he may not be a brick wall, but he may tell me things that are just cold, like, well, everybody drinks in college, or you're gonna have these problems, or I was teaching you to be a man, and he's not gonna be sympathetic to it,
Okay.
and so like now I feel like I wasted my time talking about it.
Gotcha.
And so, and then I get to a point where I'm like upset again, and it might lead to something physical. But
Right.
I'm like, so I just until he's ready to, until he tells me himself, which will probably never happen. Like,
Right. Could you say he's never acknowledged he had a
mm-mm,
problem?
mm-mm, until he's ready to say, he's like, you know what? I really want to talk to you about what happened when you were a child. Until he's ready to talk about it, he says that to me, I'll probably never do it.
But everybody else knows. But the
Um,
main, well, not everybody, but your wife, your therapist,
my mom,
your
my wife, my
mom.
dad, pretty
Yeah.
much the people in my house, and now you.
And I mean, right?
And now you.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the yeah, everybody pretty much that little situation knows. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, but if outside of the house, you can't tell.
You can't tell.
And like all the you guys have the best kids. They're so disciplined, and that was
Hmm.
because, and I'm like, this is because we will get destroyed.
Right.
We might die. I remember one
Oh
time I
my
did tell my
gosh.
teacher, if you tell, she's like, I'm gonna call your dad, and I'm like, what? And I mean, and she kind of, when she said it, she lost herself because I literally broke down and sat in the corner, cried, was rocking, and I screaming, don't tell my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't tell my dad. Please, please. And I'm just like running through to go tell another teacher, please tell her, don't tell my dad. And they're like, why is he acting like this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he told me, like, anybody else finds out about this, they're gonna take you from us and you won't have your meals. And that's when he told me that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to shut up about it. Yep. Yep. So I'm like, okay, all right, well then, So that's pretty much, it's still affecting me.
It is.
And it's gonna do it for the rest of his life.
It
It's
is.
just gonna be there. I'm just trying to make sure that none of this ends up in my instilled in my kids.
Right.
They're so pure,
Right.
so pure, and they're like they have great spirits, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to bring that down because I
Right.
lost my spirit a
Same.
early age,
Yeah.
long time ago. So
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I really hope that you do, even if you can start the conversation and you feel the vibe. And if you
hmm
don't feel like it's going where you want it to go, then you can just end it. But at
yeah,
least you got a little bit off your chest. I
yeah,
think that'll probably make you feel better, but I'm not the therapist nor the counselor. I don't know. But I'm just thinking like, because it's like you holding it in. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? You share it with some people, but
hmm
this family members rather. But there's still the person that needs to be known about this is your father.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Period.
yeah, he's. Even when we're together and we just have our normal conversations, I mean, we're really cool now.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
You have a better relationship
we
now.
have a better
So that's
relationship.
what I'm thinking. Like now, it'll
But
probably be better.
and that's if you realized how awkward it is because
Yeah.
it's like this is not who you were. It's
Yeah.
like a totally
Total
different
different
person.
person. Yeah.
So it's so awkward.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even calling him on the phone or talking to him. He actually called me
Mhm.
last week
Mhm.
and I missed the call, but I saw that he called me and I was like, "Oh, you need to call your dad back." And I'm like, "I haven't done it
Mhm.
yet." Just because it's
Mhm.
the phone conversations are awkward. Being in
Mhm.
person with him is awkward. Now,
Because in the back of your mind, this man beat the hell
this
out of
is yeah,
me.
it's that, and then you're like, this is not the same person.
Mhm.
I grew up with a different person for 20 years,
Mhm.
20 something years, and
Mhm.
so I'm learning him all over again.
Mhm.
And I started learning him all over again, and I was already out of the house.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, and so it's awkward.
It is, and the good thing is, like I said, you have a wife as a support system, and you're doing things a little bit differently as you
hmm
discipline your kids.
Right,
That's a good thing. So,
right, right. So,
okay, well, I want to thank you for coming on the show,
thanks for
Jay.
having me. Thanks for having me.
This is very, very interesting. And any advice you may have for someone maybe going through?
I would say like if you went through it or you're currently going through it, there are ways to deal with it. You need to tell somebody and let them know that you need to talk to somebody, you need to get help. Suicide isn't the way, even though I'm gonna say this, and even because I am I feel like I am you. But once you try to commit suicide, I'm gonna say you're suicidal.
Right.
Period. For the
Right.
rest of your life, you're
Mhm.
just deemed that way.
Mhm.
And so, even trying to think about it or commit it the first time, don't even go through with it because that's
Mhm.
I think suicidal is a disease on top of mental diseases.
Yeah.
So, just go talk to somebody. You don't need an outlet. Make your outlet somebody that you can talk to.
Right. Support system.
Support system.
Mhm.
And then don't let anybody tell you, even including your parents, that you can't do it
Right.
because you don't want to try to start your dreams at a late age or not start them at all,
Exactly.
because that can definitely turn in your dreams and you're fulfilling them could definitely turn, it could be your outlet to
Right.
all of it.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's what I would definitely say to somebody.
Well, again, thank you so much, and best of luck to you. And hopefully, you all can get that conversation going.
Yeah, we'll
The
see what
sooner the
happens.
better, right? Okay, that's all we can ask. But thank you so much for being on my show. Thank you for being another segment of Cox on the Couch. See
Thank
you guys
you. Have a
later.
good one.
Bye bye.